Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I hope all of you are doing well and doing great. Today we are going to talk about, GCP cost basically. And like I said, I'm going to start with a little bit basics. So if you are new to this world, don't feel, uncomfortable. We are going to talk about all these things today. The resource overview. Before that, I'm going to give a little bit overview about cloud computing and GCP, and then I'm going to head towards, what is resource, what is billing account, the payment profile, different types of account and profile you have, the charge cycle and billing reports, sub accounts, and relationship. That's the agenda for today. So before we start with anything, let's talk about, right now what cloud computing is. So let's get started about cloud computing. Before we start with anything, GCP again is a cloud, what that is. Before we talk about any of the thing, you have to first of all understand the cloud. Like again, my end goal here is that I want to, make this entire session very beneficial and very useful for you guys, so that in future, you want to go up for any of the course, your basics are clear. Because I have seen, most of the time it happens that people are not clear about the cloud. They think that, we can go for the course, but before you go for the course, your basics have to be clear. So I want to make sure that at the end, once you exit the session, you have, pretty good knowledge about the different components. So let's talk about first of all what cloud is. I know that, most of you are from a different background, so don't worry about it. I will try to make the things easier. Let me just explain you a little bit, about basically cloud. So basically we say that nowadays, things are moving to cloud, this is cloud, and that's the next generation. But what exactly cloud is? So cloud computing basically, provides you through which you can store your data and applications. Mind it guys, it's data and applications, not only data. You can store your data application on the remote servers, you can process your data and application from the servers, you can access your data and applications via the internet. So, if I talk about the evolution of the cloud, when it was started, so when this entire thing was started at that time, there used to be, only file sharing system wherein you can just share the file. So, for example, I want to share the file with someone. We started with that concept, and then later on we evolved. So, the way this industry works is that we start with a newer concept. You get a good feedback from the market. People are really liking it. We got the good response basically based on that we make the more enhancements. And this is not about the cloud industry. If you talk about the IT industry, the cyber security, same things work basically. We have to evolve ourselves. We can't stick to one technology. If you talk about programming, you must be watching that, so many versions, so many, different programming languages have been introduced. So that's the evolution. So when this entire thing was started, we were just sharing the file, we were storing the files like a storage media and all, but instead of storing the file or the stuff on a local media, we were storing on the cloud, which gives an immense advantage to us. From anywhere we can access the resources. So for example, I'm working on a document, like I worked on a document, and I want to present the document for my, let's say, practicals, or let's say I'm a college student. Oh, I was almost 20 years back, but so I want to share those, the file, the report that I have prepared, to my, basically to the college, basically to the external who came in to, evaluate me. So you don't have to carry the laptops, you don't have to carry any kind of bulk device. You can just put it over there on your cloud, and you can just retrieve it wherever you go. So you don't have to carry any of your hardware. You just need an internet connection. That's it. So at that time, we got a good response. We realized that why we had to limit ourselves with just file sharing. Then we took another step. We realized that one of the biggest challenge, and again, anything which comes in the market is based on the challenges that we have. Just to overcome those challenges, so that it can make the people life easier, and it can give, and again, immense benefit to the service provider who is providing the services. Whether it's about Amazon, which has AWS, or it has Microsoft, which has their Azure, or it has Google, which have their GCP. GCP stands for Google Cloud Provider. So at that time, when this entire thing was introduced, so based on the feedback, we realized that one of the challenge that we get is that it's good that you can store the files on the cloud and people can retrieve it. But the problem was that at that time is that the real time interaction was not there. So for example, I'm the CEO of the company. I have, let's say, 30 branches all over the globe. Now there are going to be so many salespeople. They have to update their sales report. Like I want to see that how much revenue that the company had made on a daily basis. And there can be several projects, where the team is going to work together with different people in different country. So there's going to be joint effort. If someone is going to make any modification in the file, then at the same time, second person is going to make a modification, it may have a conflict. The data may be inaccurate because they will not be able to see the real time data. So we evolved, we realized that we can have basically the softwares through which we can make the changes in this data in the real time. So we realized that we don't need any external software. So what we did is, like, you have Microsoft, you have Word, there are basically various tools available. The technology is available, I would say. So in that case, what we did is, like, you can put it on the cloud, like SharePoint and all, wherein people can see the data in the real time. For example, I'm sitting in this country. If I'm selecting I selected a third row where I'm editing something, people will be able to see that I'm editing the third row, fourth row, whatever the kind of changes I'm making. So people will have that visibility. So at the same time, the data is going to be visible in the real time. So that helped a lot. So we realized, oh, that's a good thing. What's next? So we thought about other thing. I will tell you one of the real scenario. That was a biggest game changer for this cloud industry. Which make a which boomed the market, I would say. Again, we got a very good response, but after this thing that I'm telling you, it basically had a very greater feedback from the market and from the people basically. Now, one of the other challenges we used to have is, like, we have to build the hardware. Sometimes it happens that we have to build some solution, and always we have to carry our hardware. So if with cloud we can mitigate the problem that we have carrying the files, the external drives and everything. If we can mitigate those problem, can't we mitigate the problem of the hardware, like the machines, the computers? Can we do that? Yes. We realized, yeah, we can do that, and we did it. So what we did, we just moved to a next level, wherein we provided the feature with the help of which you can create your entire environment on the cloud. Like, one of the use case I will tell you, let's say I work in a pre-sales, or I am a solution architect, wherein I design the solution for the organization before I do the real deployment. So for that, I will require multiple machines. I will require Windows servers, multiple versions, like 2008, maybe 2012, 2016, 2019. Maybe I need a different Linux version, Red Hat, Kali Linux, Ubuntu, Fedora, CentOS. So I need different OS. So on my laptop, I don't have that much capability. I can't create those many machines on a single computer. Well, then you will think that we can have a one of the solutions for the laptop. We can have multiple OS, like dual boot. So at the first boot it will load up Windows Server 2008. At the second boot it will load a different operating system. Well, that's not something I'm looking for. I have a requirement wherein I want all the machines to run in parallel, because they are going to be in a conjunction. Like, one will act as a web application server, second will be a database server, third will be a key management server. So I want all of them in a parallel. Okay, then in that case, we can have a virtual machine. That's a good idea. What virtual machine is, I will tell you in a moment. So, but we can't do it because that's going to be dependent on my, hardware requirement. Then in that case, maybe I can have different computers. I can have, maybe external hard drive in which I can build the new environment. But in that case as well, it's basically a hassle for me. Think about it. I want to deploy 7 machines, and I can't use my hard drive because I have to run all of them in parallel at the same time. My hardware is not so capable, so I'm going to have a 7 computers, or maybe I'm going to have multiple hard drive. Let's say now you are traveling, during the transit you lost your hard drive, you lost your laptop, or it was very heavy. It's going to be a nightmare for you if you're going to reach to the client side, wherein you are going to represent to CISOs and CEO of the organization. You don't have that data with you. So it's going to be a biggest problem, right? So that can be mitigated with the cloud. That's the one problem. I'm talking about the problem. I will come to the solution. Second problem, let's say in this case, is like I'm a company, service-based company. You know that in India, basically, most of the companies which are being startup are starting with their services basically. Again, we have product base as well, but services are generally more. Now, the company got a project wherein they have to build a software for a company. Let's say they got the the purchase order for X dollar. Then within 6 months they are going to complete this project. That was the estimated timeline. Now they realized, in order to work on that entire tool, they need 8 computers. Let's say I'm a startup. I don't have those many computers. I have 3 computers that I gave, and in these three computers, the hardware configuration is not so good. So they were the computers were very low in the configuration. Now I cannot upgrade the hardware, they are not compatible. So what I have to do in that case, in order to fulfill the need, I have to basically purchase the new laptops. It's not going to be easy, right? I have to make an investment just for a 6 months project to purchase new laptops. I have to make an investment basically to purchase a license, because I'm a company. I have to basically purchase a Windows license as well. Windows, license key basically. It's Windows 10. I have to purchase the key. So I'm going to make an investment first on the hardware, second on the license key, third I will need someone, basically an IT person who has to do the configuration. I'm not a that technical geek, let's say. I know the programming, but I don't know the installation, everything. So I have to make an investment on that as well. Fourth, the time. It's going to I have to spend money on the time, because generally installation of a any operating system, it takes, let's say, 40-45 minutes, plus you require that much time and effort. So it's not easy for me. And then I realized that, okay, the for this project I'm getting X dollar as a revenue. But I realized that if I will move to that approach, the money is going to be X plus 70% of it. So 70% of money is going from my pocket. Instead of getting a profit, I'm getting even a loss. So it's not a good deal for me, right? So in that case, cloud can give you an advantage. So how it can give, what exactly, it can help you. I'm going to explain you in a moment, basically. So that's an another thing. There can be likewise various scenarios. So by keeping all those kind of challenges, we realize that why can't we do all these things on the on the cloud itself. So cloud took the next level. That was the biggest game changer of this entire industry, wherein they give you an advantage, wherein what you can do is you can create your entire virtual machines, create your entire infrastructure on the cloud, and you have to pay as per the usage. So that's isn't a very good advantage. Like one of the problem that I said about a salesperson who has to travel, he has to take a very big hardware, very big, bulk of data, the hard drives, the laptops, so many things. Now it's pretty easy for him. He can just have his, one laptop, and that's it. He just need an internet connectivity, and he can just use showcase his entire environment that he built. Plus, at the same time, it will be easy for him. So instead of spending that much money on the hardware and all, he don't have to pay that much. Another problem that I shared, wherein this company, a new startup, basically got the project, they have to purchase, a couple of systems. They have to spend the money on, installation, purchasing the Windows key, purchasing the hardware, give money to someone to deploy it, and again, it's going to take a time. Now, all those kind of challenges can be mitigated easily with the cloud. You have to just go on the portal, you just create the virtual machines, and you just pay for that only. Once you're done, then you can remove it out, and you're not going to be charged. At the same time, now if I consider the cost of my entire setup that I paid to cloud. So earlier I was paying X plus 70%. Now I'm going to pay, let's say, X minus 60%. So I'm going to have a huge profit right now. So I will have a huge bandwidth to make a profit. So that's basically the cloud is, with which you can just store your data, applications, you can process it, and you can do all those kind of things on a cloud. Like you can see here in this case, this person is working, he just need an internet connection, whether it's any kind of softwares, any kind of virtual machines, anything, he can easily do it with the cloud. That's basically an immense advantage of the cloud. Let's basically, talk about a couple of benefits, about cloud computing. So if I had to summarize what cloud computing is, just to make it easier for you to understand, this is just the use of remote servers on the internet to store, to manage, to process data rather than on your local machine or a personal computer or a local server. Now, if I talk about the couple of benefits about cloud computing, is one of the biggest benefit is on-demand self-service, which means that whenever you need to access that service, you can just go anytime. You go to the portal, get your resource and get it done. At the same time, like if you are going to install, any physical, machine, you have to spend like almost 40 minutes and all, right, to create the virtual machine. In this case, it's not going to take that much time. It's going to be quick. At the same time, it is not like that any time that, oh, from morning 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. you can do it, or 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. you can do it. It's not like that. You can do it anytime you want. So basically, it's just an on-demand self-service. Wherever you are, depending on the the internet connection you have, you can easily do whatever you like. So it's an on-demand self-service. At the same time, broad network access, which means that it's not like that, like you have a limitation with the local hardware, that you have to have a hardware in order to work on it, right? So here, wherever you have the internet connectivity, you can use it. So it's not like that you don't have to carry a bulk of hardware, or it's limited to certain places. If you have an internet connection, you can use it without any hassle. The next is basically resource pooling, which means that if you want to add additional resources, like let's say I want to make an application live on the internet, and in order to make that application live, I have to combine a couple of resources. So combining a couple of resources, like I am going to have an application which is going to host some data on the internet. Well, let's say I make my own e-commerce site that I hosted on the cloud world. Now I realize I'm getting a great response from the people, and so many people are hitting my URL using my application, but it's standing on one server, which is not a good practice. I want to have multiple servers, so I can easily create cluster of servers wherein the data is going to be load balanced in between them. So that can be done very easily with the cloud. The next one is basically rapid elasticity. So basically, if you want to build a new EM, you want to put it into an environment in a cluster, you can do it easily. You don't have to wait for hours and hours and hours. The next is basically the measured service. Whatever you do is being measured. Like you have the electricity bill that you pay. You have the units basically. You can measure how much you have consumed. Similar thing you can easily measure with the the cloud computing. Now, let's talk about what is a virtual machine. Let me just give you a little bit overview. If you're new to this world, if you're a newbie, then what a virtual machine? So virtual machine is just a nothing. This is just an emulation of your computer system. This is just an emulation of your computer, nothing more than that. So basically VMs, you say virtual machine or you say VMs, they are the same thing. That's an abbreviation basically. So virtual machines are based on your computer architecture, and they provide functionality of a physical computer. But their implementation requires specialized software, hardware, and a combination of both. Like in my case, I will show you a live demo. I have a virtual machine on my system. Like I'm running Windows 10. On my computer, I have virtual machine, which is Kali Linux machine, which is being installed. So I have installed this using via the software, which is VirtualBox. Now I can run Windows 10 as well as Kali Linux, both of these operating system together at the same minute, because I have a good hardware configuration. Now if I have greatest hardware configuration, I can have many virtual machine keep on running on my computer. So that's a virtual machine. Now let's move to our topic, which is exploring the billings in the GCP. But before I start with exploring the billings and talk about different components, let me give you a little bit overview about GCP. What GCP actually stands for? GCP means Google Cloud Platform. This is a service which is offered by Google. So this is just a suite of your cloud computing services which run on the same infrastructure that Google uses internally for its end users, like your Gmail, your YouTube. They also use the same service, but now they are providing the services on a cloud. That's it's known as GCP, which is Google Cloud Platform, which can be further again integrated with the different technologies, and again we that's a very long discussion, like GCP Terraform. that we have a seminar that we provide. That's another different story. But right now our focus is today is to talk about the billings and all. So now let's talk about what is a resource basically. What exactly is a resource. So if you basically work with different cloud providers, you must be aware that the different cloud providers work same. They are a little bit different, their interface, their the kind of the naming convention that they use. Otherwise almost they are same, with a bit difference here and there. What exactly is a resource in the context of Google Cloud? So basically, resource can refer to your service level resources, which are used to process your workload, as well as to account level resources, which are going to sit above the services. Based on that, you can just add multiple resources, not resources, I would say multiple services to a resource. So this is, you can say, just it's like a service level resources, wherein you can have multiple things combined, and you can refer to those things easily. That's a resource. Clear? Now let's talk about what exactly is a resource management. You say RM or you say resource management, it's the same thing. It's not a relationship manager. Sometimes people, when they heard some first time RM, they think, oh, relationship manager. No, it's not that. RM basically in the Google world means the resource management. So resource management is basically focused on how you are going to configure, or you are going to grant access to the various cloud resources for your company team. So for example, I want to have role-based access. I want to have different type of access to different team members. Someone can be an administrator, someone can be an operator, someone can be as a monitor basically means that he's going to monitor the resources, the uptime, downtime, and all this kind of stuff. So you're going to basically monitor each and everything. And how you're going to monitor is with the kind of a role that you're going to assign to a user. So once he has that required role, once he has that that required access, then in that case that person will be able to access all those kind of resources. So that's the resource management, wherein the resources that you have created, how you can manage those resources. Again, as the name suggests, you're going to provide the access, you're going to grant some policies, you're going to grant some access by creating the policies. All that kind of configuration is going to be done. Now let's talk about resource hierarchy. So resource hierarchy, as you can see, don't worry, like don't worry, it's a big diagram. It looks complex. It's not. It's basically pretty easy. So resource hierarchy basically means that this is like, let's say, your domain, which is at the cloud level. You have your organization within that domain, that you have created. Now you are going to have a payment profile for entire organization basically. So again, you have different options. I'm going to explain you more in a bit. So you can have the payment profile set up for the entire account. So you are going to have a billing account. Now let's say your company has adopted the Google service, wherein they want to use the Google Cloud for different projects. Now they want to use it for different projects. The one of the biggest challenges which happen with most of the organizations is the chargeback, because in the organization, every department is going to have a limit. Let's say A department will have X limit, B department will have B limit, C department will have like something kind of money which is given to them to run their department. They want to purchase any hardware, they want to make their employees travel, so every department will have the billing. Now what you want to do is you want to do a cross charge, because there are going to be different department, different projects. Let's say one project has a it's utilizing the cloud service so much, so let's say they got a bill of X dollar, and the second project is utilizing a very minimal, so they're only getting 10% of it. But if you're going to think that, okay, the company is spending, let's say, $100,000, they can divide that money in all the different projects, and they can take the money from their projects. It's not going to be good, right? It doesn't make any sense. So think about it, because if you have thousands of projects which are running in parallel, and you're going to charge them not depending on their usage, just an equally distribution, it's going to be a pain for them, right? It's not going to be fair. So what you can do is you can just perform the billing on per project basis, wherein you can see what all the usage that they have done. Like in this case, you see this is a project one, where you have, let's say, 3 VMs, you have multiple resource labels, 3 database, and you have different resources. So you can easily identify that this project is using what all resources, and based on that you can charge them. So that's a, again, another good benefit of a basically cloud. It's not like that you can have a payment profile set up for the whole account where you cannot distinguish between the different projects which are running. Otherwise every project have to purchase their own cloud services, which is going to be very expensive, because depending on the organization you have a tier. Tier 3 has a more discount, tier 4 has a more discount, tier 5 has a highest discount. Like that, they have the hierarchy. So if you're going to have different projects, then maybe you can get a less discount, but it's going to be more problem for the payment purpose. Like think about a Google is getting more than 1,000 invoices from the same organization. It's going to be painful. So you can easily see that what all different projects are using the service, and how much utilizing they're utilizing the service, and based on that you can charge them. Now let's talk about billing account and payment profile. So what that is. So basically, what exactly is a billing account? So before I explain you this diagram. So basically, cloud billing account is set up in the Google account, and basically the end goal of having this is to define who pays for a given set of Google Cloud resources. So this is just kind of the setting that you have enabled, the changes that you basically made to define who is going to pay for what all different kind of Google Cloud resources that you are using. Basically, that's a billing account. And at the same time, account can be linked with different projects. Like in this case, as you can see, this billing account is linked with project 1, project 2. You can basically see the usage, and you can even define that different departments as well. Like you want that, okay, for project 1, A guy is going to pay. For project 2, B guy is going to pay. For project third, let's say C person is going to pay. Likewise, you can just define that easily. Now this is the linkage between your payment profile and billing account. Now on the billing side, you will have different people who are going to be using the Google Cloud service, and therefore different projects, they are going to be different costs. Now while paying it, you can just accumulate all those costs, and you can make a direct payment using the payment profile that you have, which is again a Google level resource, with the help of which it can see that what exactly the service that you have utilized at the entire enterprise level. Are you paying the right money or not? If the money is not right, then in that case it's going to raise an alert, or sometimes it sends an email as well to the person in the AP team. AP is basically accounts payable team, that you have this much due pending and this much you have paid, a kind of summary of it. you know because your cloud basically cloud billing account is connected to your Google payment profile. So your Google payment profile includes a payment instrument. It's a kind of interface to which the cost is going to be charged. Now let's talk about different type of accounts that you can have. Like what are different type of accounts you can have, the different type of profile you can have. So let's talk about it. So you can have, basically these are the two different type of cloud billing accounts you can have. One is the self-serve account, and second is the invoiced account. Self-serve account basically means that it's like a self-service. Whenever you're going to use the resources, you're going to be you're going to pay for it. Second is the invoice amount, basically in which you're going to get the invoice. You can set up the frequency, like you want to pay monthly, or you want to specify a duration. Basically, then you're going to get the invoice based on it. That's the invoice amount. Now that's again the type of cloud billing account. Likewise, you can have type of Google payment profile. So the Google payment profile can be of two types. One is for individual, second is for business. For individual, this is going to be for individual person, basically for which this profile is going to be that the individual person who's going to use the service, they are going to pay for it. The second one is basically for the business. This is going to be for the corporates. So generally with the corporates, you can get more discount, more flexibility, and all that kind of things can be easily configured with the business. And again, you can create different project, different billing structure. All that kind of flexibility is given to you if you're going to use the business service. Now let's talk about charging cycle and billing contacts. Let's take a look. So what charging cycle is? So basically for self-serve billing account that we have seen a moment ago, the costs are basically charged in two ways, like I said. One is basically on the monthly billing, wherein you can decide, okay, every month what I'm going to consume, I'm going to pay for it. Just like your postpaid bill, you get basically postpaid bill at the end, right? At the end of the month, you have to pay for it. Similar thing, you can have a monthly billing, and the second one that you can have is your threshold billing. Threshold basically, billing is the billing, like you can decide the limit, like if I have used x service, service of x dollar, then in that case you are going to be charged, till the time you have not utilized that much limit, you're not going to be billed. And once you have utilized that much bill limit, you're going to be bill for it. So basically, it is basically in one of the very good option with GCP, that you can customize. You can basically define that which invoicing option you want to go. The next one is basically the billing contact. As the name suggests, billing contact is basically, this is just a billing account which includes one or more contact which are defined on the Google payment profile. So basically these contacts are people who are designated to receive billing information specific to the, the usage that they have done, and they have to make the payments, accordingly. Generally, this is the, accounts payable team. Their day is configured. In certain cases, the project owner is there. So again, depending on the kind of the organization to organization, the kind of the changes that they have made, that like how much level you're using the service, how many projects are using this service. So depending on that, these things have been generated. Now, the next thing that we talk about is the sub account. I hope you guys now, got a bit guess what the benefit of sub account is. Let's talk about it. So basically, the cloud billing sub account basically, gives you again an, immense benefit. The what benefit you can have is basically, let's say, in my organization there are two different departments, and I know that these two different departments are going to use the heavy service. Or I will give you a real example. One of the real example of, in the industry, about the companies now. Now companies are MNCs. They have multiple divisions all over the globe. So let's say the company have a division in India, where in India they have 100 office. In US they have 200 office. Now these are two different countries, and the company is same, but in the, like in India, when they have 100 office, in 100 office also they are going to have, different people, different projects. So if we are going to create the hierarchy, it's going to be very long hierarchy. Like if I'm going to create a one main account, and in that I can have one account in India, then in India I have 100 different projects, or maybe 1,000 different projects. In US I have 200 different accounts, 2,000 different projects. It's going to be a nightmare for me. So what we can do is, and again, they are going to be in a different time zone, so India and US people will not be able to sync up with each other. So you can have basically the sub accounts created, wherein this is your parent billing account, and you can have a billing sub account one. Let's say this sub account one is for India, this sub account two is for US. So basically you can have, I would say, the flexibility to see the usage. You have basically flexibility to basically see that what all people are utilizing the services, and you can have the billing easily. At the same time, sometimes you take the services from a reseller, like I'm providing this thing as a service as well. If I'm providing this as a service, then in that case I can create a different billing sub account for different organizations. If I'm selling something as a service, that's a sub account. Clear? Now moving on to the relationships part, which is last thing, like what exactly is the relationship. So basically, so if I have to, talk about what relationship is, like at a higher level. So relationship between your organization, project, cloud, billing account, payment profiles can be there. Now, as per your own organization, infrastructure, as per your organization, design, you can define the relationship. It's not like that you have to use that same relationship, uh, technique, same relationship design as per your organization, design as per your organization, infrastructure. You can easily, create the relationship profile between the different components. So you can define the owner, you can have the payment linkages. Let me show you. Now, in this case, this is the organization, this is the billing account I have. In the billing account, I have different project. This is my project one. The second one is my project two. Third is my project three. So I can have basically, different projects basically within the organization, and they are going to be linked with the billing account, and which eventually is going to be linked with the payment profile. So you can basically easily make the customizations. If I want, I can just take out this hierarchy. I can just make one person as the owner. So from organization to organization, I can easily, make all those kind of customizations very easily. At the same time, when I have to do a cross charge where I have to, ask someone that, they have used this much, this is something that they are going to be charged. So all that kind of stuff can easily be, managed. So this is like something your hand, because here the Google is going to give you an advantage that this is your profile, this is your platform. So you are free to define the relationship and customize it depending on your requirement, because Google understands that the from organization to organization things can differ. There can be various other things. So it can have a very huge benefit with the cloud service, because that was one of the biggest challenges we used to have earlier, that how we can how basically we can manage these things, how basically we can classify these things. Because when this cloud service was started, at that time, in the beginning, there was a one option through which you can make the customization, but in an organization you can have several department, so which used to be a biggest problem. So now in this case, easily you can basically make all those kind of customizations, all the kind of changes that you can do. So that was all about the GCP and the billing. So let's wrap up for today. Once again, thank you everyone for joining today's session. I hope you enjoyed a lot, you have learned a lot, and have a great day ahead. Bye bye.